Hello my dear students, welcome to our today's class. Today we will discuss about chapter 4 of our Buddhist Religion and Moral Education book. The name of this chapter is Sutta and Moral Verses. The Suttas and moral verses are chanted by Lord Buddha himself. Buddha preached all those to his disciples and devotees in different places in different occasions. These are available in the various books of Sutta Pitaka included in the Tripitaka. The Suttas and the moral verses contain the basics of Buddha's teaching and philosophy. They perform welfare in this life alongside the development of moral and spiritual life. These are chanted in different occasions. These are chanted generally to be protected from the bad effects of natural calamities, accident, disease, graves and ghosts, evil spirits, yakas, etc., and to wish for all types of blessings. Each sutta is recited for the specific purpose. For example, the Ratan Sutta is recited to be saved from famine and epidemic, and the Karaniya Metta Sutta is to be saved from disturbance of ghosts and yakas. Shupavana Sutta to protect from the bad effect of the misfortune. Bojjhanga Sutra is recited to recover from all diseases. There are many more suttas in Tripitaka. By reciting those, we can be saved from different kinds of dangers. By the end of this chapter, we shall be able to describe the background of Ratana Sutta and the Karaniya Metta Sutta and explain the subject matter of the Ratan Sutra and Karaniya Metta Sutra. So, our today's lessons are the background of Ratan Sutta, Ratan Sutta in Pali, Ratan Sutra in English, background of Karaniya Metta Sutra, Karaniya Metta Sutta in Pali, Karaniya Metta Sutta in English, and the importance of the Ratan Sutra and Karaniya Metta Sutra. Lesson 1. The background of the Ratana Sutra. Vaishali was a democratic state of the Lichavis in India. It is now known as Beshar. At the time of Lord Buddha, Vaishali was a very prosperous city. The king, prince, rich men, chief of army, farmers, merchants, etc. people from different classes and castes lived here. Vaishali was enriched with many kinds of food. The dwellers lived there with great happiness. Once upon a time, there was a severe drought in Vaishali. All the fields, ponds, agricultural lands dried out. The farming and the production of crops were stopped. As a result, there was a famine in the state. Large numbers of people died of starving. Many inhuman demons entered in the city, attracted by the bad smell. Many more people died by the disturbing demons. An epidemic started due to air pollution. Huge people and animals died also for this. At last, the inhabitants of Vaishali, being tormented by the three kinds of disturbance such as famine, demons and epidemic, went to the king and prayed to him for the solution of this situation. Buddha was living in Rajgeha at that time. The king of Vaishali then sent messenger to bring Lord Buddha. Then Buddha asked Ananda to learn the Ratan Sutra and said, recite this Sutta moving around the cities of Vaishali with the Lichavis. The famine, epidemic and fear will go away from Vaishali by the of the Sutta. According to the instruction of Buddha, they started to recite the Ratan Sutta and sprinkled water from the begging bowl of Buddha. The three kinds of fear, the fear of disease, the fear of demons, the fear of famine, drove away by the recitation of Ratana Sutra. It rained heavily. The fields were filled with crops again. The peace returned to the life of Vaishali, and the people of the city were very happy. This is the background of Ratana Sutta. This Sutta is found in the book Khuddaka Patha included in Khuddaka Nikaya of Sutta Pitaka. Lesson 2. Ratana Suttam in Pali. Dear students, in this lesson, the Ratan Sutra is given in Pali language. I hope you know the rules of reading Pali. We have already discussed about in our previous class. Read all the stanzas of Ratana Sutra in Pali by yourself. Lesson 3. Ratan Sutra in English. In this lesson, the English meaning of all stanzas of Ratan Sutra are described. Read by yourself. If you read Ratan Sutra with English, it will be very easy to understand this. Lesson 4. Background of Karaniya Metta Sutta. Once upon a time, Lord Buddha was living in Savatthi. The rainy season was coming. The bhikkhus used to search the suitable place inside the mountain cave or in the forest for the Vasha. Thus, the 500 bhikkhus started to live in the forest near the Himalayas. They used to practice meditation with great pleasure after eating the food from the neighboring villages. Their health and mind become fresh by the pollution-free climate and good food. There were many tribing in that forest. They were afraid of the pious life and the power of Shila of the bhikkhus. The tree gods were fleeing away from the trees with their families for being unable to bear the influence of Shila. They were only thinking about when the bhikkhus would leave this place. As soon as the bhikkhus would leave the place, they could come back to their dwelling place. But the tree gods found that the bhikkhus would not leave the place before the end of Vasa. One night the tree gods frightened the bhikkhus, appearing before them with a piercing, terrible look to drive them away. To this the bhikkhus were terrified. Therefore they could not concentrate on meditation. Gradually they became very thin and weak. Later, the tree gods started to spread bad smells. To this, the bhikkhus suffered from severe headache. One day, after discussing between them, they went away to Lord Buddha in Savatthi, living Vasha. To see the bhikkhus, Buddha reminded them that he instructed not to travel during Vasha. Then the bhikkhus narrated all the facts about living of the place of the Vasha. On hearing everything, Buddha said, "O bhikkhus, go back to that place again. I am saying you the way of protecting from the tree gods. Be friendly to the tree gods or the demons. Don't be hostile to them. Show friendship and pity to them with patience." Saying this, Buddha preached the Karaniya Metta Sutta to them and said, "Learn this sutta and go back to the forest. At the 8th day of Upashatha in every month, recite this sutta loudly. Discuss about religion. Ask each other about the topic and recommend them. Then the demons will never frighten you. They will be beneficiary and well-wisher of you." According to the advice of Buddha, the bhikkhus went back to the place and involved in reciting Karaniya Metta Sutta and absorbed in the Metta Bhavana. The disturbance of the tree gods were stopped by the impact of Karaniya Metta Sutta. Due to the influence of the friendship and pity, the tree gods did not harm the bhikkhus anymore. Moreover, they engaged in serving them with content. Finally, the bhikkhus were able to complete their Vasha. In this sutta, there is a guideline for the people who are wishing nirvana to practice Metta Bhavana as their duties. So, it is called the Karaniya Metta Sutta. The name of this sutta in Pali is Karaniya Metta Sutta. Lesson 5. Karaniya Metta Sutta in Pali. Dear students, in this lesson, the Karaniya Metta Sutta is described in Pali. Read by yourself. And in the lesson 6, the Karaniya Metta Sutta is described in English. It will help you to understand the Karaniya Metta Sutta in Pali. Lesson 7. The importance of the Ratan Sutra and Karaniya Metta Sutta. The impact of Ratan Sutta on human beings and gods is infinite. There are praises about Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, three jewels in the Ratana Sutra. These three jewels together are called Dharma Triratna. One can keep away his mind from any unwholesome deeds by recalling Triratna. Mind can be controlled by this. Therefore, it is said the Ratan Sutta, by keeping us away from all the unwholesome deeds or actions, inspires us to perform good deeds and guides us to the right path of true religion. The person guided to the true religion can attain Nibbana by ending all the sufferings. The moral teaching of the Karaniya Metta Sutta is to nurture the friendly attitude for every living being, not to neglect anyone, not to wish bad for anyone. Everyone should show kindness for all the beings always, whether sleeping, awaking, and meditating, as the meditation on metta makes the mind peaceful and controls the speech, body, and mind. It drives the enmity, awakes love. It teaches us to be friendly with all the living beings by comparing others' life with that of own. This Sutta inspires us to be sympathetic and to wish good for all. So it can be said that the importance of Ratan Sutta and Karaniya Metta Sutta is infinite to practice true religion. Now here is a question for you. By which name Vaishali is known at present? I hope you know the answer. Yes, the answer is Besha. So dear students, I hope you got a clear concept about this chapter. Practice full lesson and exercises and learn word meaning from page 68-71. So that's all for today. See you again our next class. Till then, stay safe and stay with the study.